I, of course, am your host, Young Aloysius, Wade Beasy, um, all those good names. You know the vibes. Uh, I'm throwing off, so fuck with me. This damn, I swear to God, man, I go through so much with this damn thing, and every time they be like, "Yeah, you good, you good," and it's never good. It's never good. But yeah, y'all know me. I'm Wade Blogs, aka Mr. Quid Pro Quo, aka the
Wait for it.
Wade Blogs.
He didn't make us wait long.
Not that long, because it's.
Not that long.
I mean, it was
not kill no more time.
Exactly.
It's not a full show.
Enough time already got used.
Exactly. It's not a full show, so we're not doing the whole 8 seconds.
Gotcha.
Pause for dramatic effect. It's already been dramatic.
I'm not complaining.
It's already been dramatic. And of course we got joining us as always, Miss Nissa Moore, aka Scangela Davis. And we're not using the other one anymore. So just Scared is here, y'all.
Hey y'all. I'm here.
And
I keep it simple. I'm here.
Hey, that's good to go. That's good with me. And of course, straight out the Dungeons and Rap, with Fake Niggas Don't Make It Back, aka what, 8 Game Studios. Hey, listen, I like that.
What?
8 Game Studios. I like that. I just thought of
technically the West Wing.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
She is here, everybody.
Shit.
So listen, we do these things. Try doing once a month. Well, we did do one last month. It was Black History Month, damn it. So that's my excuse.
Y'all ain't gonna have us slaving all the time.
Exactly.
It's okay. We'll stick to that.
Give us free. But yeah, we try to do these once a month, just something to connect with people. A lot of y'all can't listen to the podcast or prefer watching us live and interacting with us while we're recording. So we try to do these once a month to get everybody interactive, talk back to y'all talk back to us, answer some questions, pick a topic, and just talk. It's not a full show. We don't go like 3 or 4 hours like we normally do.
They don't leave me on this one. They're on for the ride.
I'm about to say this ain't the full trip. This is more like just a nature walk or something.
Basically,
you can keep up on this.
It's a light sprint right here. It's a light jog. It's just a little. I hate to call it a quickie, but it's what it is. Just a little quickie episode for y'all. I know that's the wrong show. That's your show, Scan. That's the wrong show.
That's
that terminology.
That's right.
Yeah, but just a little quick episode for y'all. Shout out to everybody that's joining us. I see people tuning in, so I really appreciate all y'all for checking us out. If you got something to say, definitely hit us up in the chat. You can watch us on all streaming platforms right now. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, all right now, same time, simultaneously. So don't feel like you can only see us on Facebook. This video will live. So a lot of things have happened. One thing I want to get to and we'll talk about is what happened. We got some news earlier yesterday. I think earlier day yesterday.
Yeah.
And what's funny is while I was preparing for this show, I realized that we talked about them last time we did a live show.
Yeah.
I just, if I knew that, I would we wouldn't have did that again. But it's too late now. Versus the company, the brand that we all quote unquote know and love, was just recently acquired.
I'm about to say acquired.
Purchased by the app Triller. Now Triller, for what I know, I'm not too familiar with Triller, but from what I know, it's more like a TikTok kind of app where you make music videos and stuff up there. I don't have the app, not too familiar with it.
Yeah, me neither.
But from what I hear, is a popular app, and this acquisition is going to make them more popular. But the sides are split on it. I'm hearing a lot of different things about the acquisition. Some people love it, some people hate it. Before we get into our opinions, let's go into the actual information so we can be actually informed. Now, y'all gotta let me know if this shows through because we tried this earlier and it didn't. But let me know. In a statement released by Versus, the Versus says, and I quote, Versus have been acquired by the Triller Network. Versus will continue to stream on Instagram and now also on Triller. Every artist who did a Versus is now a shareholder in Triller Versus. Swiss and Timbaland will now oversee music strategy at Triller. Most importantly, Versus will continue to be free. What's next? More battles, and we look forward to further expanding into sports, comedy, and live events. Now, Swiss and Tim, the brains behind Versus, went on to go into the Fat Joe show. And I feel like we did this. Before, right? And try to elaborate. And y'all let me know if the audio plays through, because of course I can't see it. Talk to him, Joe.
Now, today you announced a big move, and break it down to us so we could all know, how did you make this move? Because a lot of people, I heard the number was 400 million. They was offering you all type of shit. And you guys refused because you wanted everybody to eat. Can you break this down to us?
Break it down, brother Swiss. Break it down, brother Swiss.
He's talking to you, Tim.
Hey, brother. Hey, Joe. It's just I'm just a given person, brother. I think it's only right. It's like I told Swiss, and me and Swiss was talking like we wanted to be just disruptive. I was like, everybody help us build this. We got to give back. We can't just take this ride by.
Why is Joe yelling at them?
Joe,
that's how Joe talk, man. That's just how Fat Joe talk.
Yell at them like that, though. Like, I was like, damn, are you mad at them? Are you asking a question? Well, I'm a little confused right now.
Joe's from Brooklyn. That's all. He's always mad. I mean,
wow.
The Bronx. I'm sorry, the Bronx.
Yeah.
So I bring it to y'all, and I bring it to the crowd that's watching with us. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to UC. I see you. How do we feel about the Versus and Triller? How do we feel about that? Scan?
I don't.
Go ahead.
I was about to say, I don't consider it a sellout move. From getting more detailed information, that especially that the artists that participated got a piece of the pie, and that Swiss and Timbo is basically in a position where they're overseeing the music for them now. I don't feel like they really lost anything or sold out anything, because they still pretty much have a good amount of control for Versus, and now have stake in another company, and brought everybody along with them.
I don't see anything wrong here.
Me neither.
You know what?
And people can still stream it for free.
I'm about to say, it's still free. It's not like we now got to charge.
Confused about why there's a problem here.
Well,
and they kind of took care of people along the way.
To be the contrarian, just for discussion's sake.
Here we
just
go.
for discussion's sake.
Come on.
There is an argument that, and I actually had this conversation with somebody, that now is not black owned. It's corporate now. It's essentially the same thing Jay-Z did a couple of weeks ago with his company when he sold into. When he took title to Square, Twitter, or now it's corporate owned. It's like we trying to get a seat at the table when we had our own table. Versus was his own entity. It wasn't aligned with nobody. In their statement, they said Versus will still be on Instagram, but notice they didn't mention Apple. Before you could watch it on Apple TV, it was no problem. So now I start to wonder, can you still see it on Apple TV? And also in the statement, if you look at the way the statement was worded, it said Swiss and Tim will oversee. It didn't say Swiss and Tim are now co-owners. Swiss and Tim now lead. They will oversee. Sounds like they got a job.
Right. They didn't lose their position.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't sound like they bosses here. And no disrespect to Swiss and Tim, the way it was worded. I mean, hey, if I tell you to oversee something, if I tell you, hey, this is yours, it's two different things.
Yeah, I see where you're getting at.
Now, I mean, it's now most people say business is the point of business, and I've heard this from Jay-Z. So, and you look at his career, he's done this. You know, you build something, sell it, and then build something else. But then, how do we have equity in anything? Like, we don't have our own anything anymore. It's like they're eating off of our hard work.
Isn't that what the American dream is?
Is it though?
I mean, that's how. But that's the truth. It is the truth, and unfortunately, it's not fair. And a lot of people are selfish, and they don't think about what's going to happen in the future because their kids are already fine. So, unfortunately, we can speak about how we want to keep everything black owned, but in reality, is it really going to always stay that way? Especially in the position that they already are in. We're thinking on a level of our level.
Yeah,
we're not thinking at a level of their level. That's money, like he said, he could turn around and just make again. So maybe at some point he can decide, or he will decide, and this is what we don't know. We never know what happens on the inside of behind those doors either. You know, there could be something else more that's happening there, or you know, there could be talks of something else, but who knows? But I get it, and I completely understand it. And yes, we preach that we want to continue to have Black-owned businesses, but you know, where does that really start and continue at some point? It doesn't seem like it's something that's really being pushed as hard when it comes up to like the more higher level.
Yep, and just like Scan said, we don't know what's going on behind the scene. Ultimately, they could have did this move because they was like, they thought of something better than verses. So they made a move like, all right, let's go ahead and hand this off, get the money off of this, everybody eat off of that, and then we take the money that we getting off of that and go ahead and build what we got coming up next.
I mean, that's possible, but then it's just a cycle we see. Like I said, we literally just saw this last week with Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? He built Tidal, he built Ace of Spades, you know, and he sold it off. And that was like,
I mean, at some point you have to. At some point, you're going to hit a glass ceiling in business, and you have to partner with other people to further your reach and get to different regions and demographics that you might not have been able to get to. Like
So
case
that way
in
you can
point,
expand.
exactly. Like case in point, I always bring it back to music. Like you can be an independent artist, have your own label and everything, but at some point, like even when I was first starting out with it, at some point I knew that I needed to expand distribution. So if a major label wanted to sign me or any of the artists that I work with, I wouldn't want a label deal. I would want a distribution deal, so that way I can keep a lot of stuff in house, but I still have to partner with them to further the reach of the music. It's just that now times have evolved to the point that independent artists are able to kind of go around it, especially with the streaming sites to be able to upload stuff. We're in more control at this point, but that still doesn't change the fact that in some ways in other business, it hasn't evolved past that. Hey, at some point you're gonna have to sell some of your shares to somebody that has a further reach than you to keep growing. So again, I understand why some people feel that way, but I think it was a sound business decision.
I mean, it from a money sense, of course. If the numbers Joe is reporting, 400 million, that's nothing to sneeze at. Now, I don't know if that's accurate. You know, even if it was accurate, they would never admit that. You know what I'm saying?
Of course not. Of course not.
It's just, to me, and once again, I want y'all to understand something. I'm just arguing the contrarian point.
Oh,
my opinion. I haven't said my opinion in this.
Very passionate. Very passionately.
No, because if we all agree on everything, the show will be over in 5 minutes.
This is true. This is very true.
Gotta say something different. The point I'm making though is that it's kind of I look at Tyler Perry. You know, the Tyler Perry speech that everyone quotes from Tyler Perry, and I'm not a Tyler Perry fan, so don't get me out there. I see y'all out there unconditioned, like, oh, you like Tyler Perry? Nah, I'm good. But it's like we fought so long for a seat at the table. Why don't we just build our own table? Versus was his own entity, but now you're buying into the corporate. You're buying into corporate America. You get a seat at the table, and I'll be honest, like, dog, maybe it's just I'm old and I'm not familiar with the app, but I don't know anybody that uses Triller.
I don't either. I never
Not
heard of it.
anymore. It's not as popular anymore. Not as popular as TikTok is now.
So
Triller
it's like,
was out before TikTok. And
yeah, I remember
TikTok
seeing
busted
it.
out, it just took over.
So I mean, maybe a smarter business decision would have been partnering with TikTok. I don't know, and once again, I'm not saying they're saying they have ownership. I don't see that from everything I'm seeing from the press release and from what they're even saying. I don't see ownership. I see partnership. It's like the with Nas with the Def Jam. Like, hey, I ain't signed a Def Jam. Def Jam partnered with me. Yeah, okay. You signed a contract. And I love Nas. Nas is the right guy.
I don't know. I mean, to be honest, all of these apps have a shelf life, in my opinion. The only ones that are really like standing the test of time are Facebook and Instagram right now. Snapchat ain't even what it used to be. Vine died out. So, like, to me, TikTok ain't nothing but Vine reborn. So, eventually, all of them is gonna cycle out. So, maybe this was a way to revive it for a little while, like I said, until they go into the next phase or something.
I guess another one of my concerns is that it's not ours. It doesn't feel like it's ours anymore. Like, you remember a couple episodes ago, we had the whole argument with Justin Timberlake. It's like he don't belong to the culture. He can't be in verses. Now it's going to be like Avril Lavigne and all these other people in verses that we don't care about. Like, I don't want to
I understand
versus Madonna.
when you come from that perspective.
I feel you on that point. That's like you got an underground artist or just an artist period that don't nobody really know about, that you love to death, and then soon as that single hit the radio, you're like, oh fuck.
Yo, honestly, that's how it was with The Weeknd. Like, when The Weeknd came out, we was dropping little tapes. I was like, oh yeah, The Weeknd slap. Yeah, everybody like, I'm like, yeah, he all right.
Yeah, he just did the Super Bowl and it's just like, I wasn't impressed.
Yeah, you know. I know.
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean when you say we kind of had something that was ours, because we did make that ours. Like, it was something that we all enjoyed and was able to, like, that was our thing. That was wasn't the start of 2020, didn't it? Like,
Yeah,
that was
the beginning of 2020.
That was like our the Black people's pandemic thing. Like, like, a way for us to still be able to enjoy some type of concert or outing, but being able to still interact with each other, but in a more modern way, and yet enjoy all that music that we all have like serious nostalgia for. You know what I mean? I think that's another thing, and that's why you're kind of right when you point out, you're like, oh, Adam Levine and Katy Perry's gonna be popping up there now. It's like,
Katy Perry. Like, I don't want versus is the definition of what Black people are so good at. We make the best out of nothing.
Yeah.
Pandemic, nothing was going on. We all had our phones, so why don't we do this? Like, look at D Nice. Before pandemic, unless you were hip hop, you didn't know D Nice.
No, D Nice. Yeah.
So this is how
the whole world knows D Nice.
Yeah, because he broke that. He broke the fucking internet with that mix.
Yeah. Listen, the way you brought that up is like this type of example. It's like not the way, like you said, when you heard Weekend and then all of a sudden everybody was on Weekend. They was on Weekend and you was like, oh fuck Weekend. Not like that. It's more like this. And since we're talking about Black-owned business, it's something that we feel like as African American people we created, right? We started that shit, and we've been had this flow of artists just run through it, and all of them have been dope. Even the trial and error situations, right?
Yeah.
But it's
that created some of the best memes.
Right. So it's like when we as Black people come up with a really dope ass dance, right? and we rock the shit out of it, and then a
Exactly.
bunch of white people do the dance, and we're like, oh fuck, now we got to come up with something new, because they fuck up the whole dance. Like it's not even cool anymore, because you look weird when you're over here doing the fucking shit, and we're like, why? You have no
You know
business
what?
when you're doing it.
That's
You
the
look really
that's the
weird.
perfect analogy. That's
Why
the
does
perfect
scam
analogy.
voice change though? You over here doing the shit.
Yeah, because that's really what that is. It's like you see
No,
them
because
all get
it's
together, and they're trying to make like these little. It's like watching people stomp.
it's like watching people Millie rock.
You know,
Yeah.
like it doesn't look right. It just
Yeah.
takes the fun out of it. It's like, stop it. Now I don't even like watching my own people do it anymore. You just ruined it for me.
Yeah.
It's like you see people like 2 Millie came up with Millie rock, and now it's all in Fortnite. It's in video games. He's not getting nothing for it.
Right.
At least in this situation, they got something allegedly for it. Allegedly.
Yeah.
I mean,
You need that on the. You need that on a shirt, bro.
Listen,
That is definitely
He's
it.
gonna run with that.
That is
He really feels like they didn't get shit out of this situation.
I mean,
Yeah, he really does. You can tell. Like the more and more you talk about it, he's just like,
no, this is
nah,
just me arguing the other
this
side.
don't smell right to me.
It's just the
Smells
way
like bullshit to me.
like I always tell my kids, words matter. And the way they worded that, it doesn't seem like it was a partnership. It seemed like y'all came to work for us. We now own Versus. Here's another position for y'all. Y'all can do this over here. But nah, Versus belongs to us. Katy Perry, you and Madonna, round 1, let's go. Pink, you're next. Like Avril Lavigne, like I don't care about these. Now, my man CeeLo, my cousin, says he has a comment. I read his comment.
Yeah,
He says,
I was just reading his comment.
go
He got
ahead,
a good point. He got a good point. He was like, I think the main thing was the artist getting paid. Maybe Tim and Swiss didn't want to eat that cost, so let the white folks. Remember before the pandemic started loosening up, the artists were just going in for the love. Now they want money, which is a good point. A lot of artists was like they weren't going to participate in the verses because they was like, I'm not getting paid for this.
Right.
But see, it was a way for the artists to get paid where they would premiere their singles after the verses. You think about all the artists that came out with the single that we didn't care about, but they dropped the single after the verses, and a lot of artists, their streams came up after that because they were on Versus. They were exposed to a new audience.
Yep.
You know, that's a documented. They call it the Versus effect. You do a Versus show, and all of a sudden your streams go up because you're exposed to a new audience. So I mean, I get that, and like I said, I haven't even said my opinion. I'm just arguing the contrarian because if we disagree with everything, it'd be over in 5 minutes. So I'm just saying.
No, that's
a point.
That's a hell of a point.
But here's something else I saw, and because I know everybody's watching, they're gonna be like, "Well, Wade, you're not saying that whole story." Here's another clip from the Swiss and Fat Joe interview where they elaborated more about the deal with Triller. Let me go into that because I don't want people to think I'm not being fair, and you know how people don't like the media. So let's go into this here.
Swiss called me last week and told me to play, right? Pound for pound. I never told nobody to play. They think I talk too much, but I don't tell what we're supposed to tell. So Swiss says, look, man, Joe, me and Tim, we couldn't sleep. Some very good people offered us the most money we ever thought in our life, but we wanted to share this with the other artists and the culture. And so you gave equity, meaning ownership, to all the artists that participated in Versus till now. Is this true?
Facts.
Facts.
And not only that, you know, what people got to understand is that, you know, this took some time to get it to this particular place because me and Tim could have been took the money and nobody would have even known. We could have been took the money, but our spirit and our zone, it just didn't feel right. And that's when I gave you that call. I was like, yo, it just don't feel right. And then we came up with this way, which is the real way. And that's what we're supposed to do. You know, it's what we're supposed to do because there's so many platforms out there that get built by us. And then when it's time to get to the next level, we're not a part of it. You understand? And everybody felt like they got paid from Versus in some type of way, but that still wasn't enough because there's enough for everybody. And we want ownership from other people, but we don't give ownership to each other. We want respect from other people, but we don't give respect to each other. And the artists shouldn't have to ask for this. They shouldn't have to see this announcement and then be like, man, I wonder why they ain't do this, or why wouldn't they think of doing that? Wasn't that supposed to be for the culture? So, but us going to Triller was something special to us because now Triller is the biggest. Triller. Let me tell you something.
Break it down.
I
Swiss.
love
Break it
Triller.
down, brother Swiss.
You know
Break
I
it
got
down,
business
brother.
let me tell you.
Wednesday on Triller.
Yes,
you know
you
I
are.
love Triller app. Triller.
Everybody got to go download Triller now. Let me tell you why. Because it has the most creators most creators that are owners in any company in the world. The most black and brown people are owners at Triller than any other. We brought 43 people with us. They already had 30 people over there that are owners of color and creators.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I got a phone call from Gary from Tim's.
Yeah.
And he said I got a little something too.
Everybody eats.
Joe.
Everybody eats.
It's a new year. It's a new way of thinking.
Everybody.
I want to come. We want to party together.
Gary, and he says, "Hey, Timbo and Swiss want you to know you're a part owner in Triller too. Welcome to the Versus family." I was like, "Hallelujah!"
Yes. And we appreciate your support from day one. Speaking about us on the show. And this is crazy. A lot of people
want to play the continuation because I know people will be like, "Well, wait, we're not telling the whole story." So, with that being said, with the rest of that piece, how do we feel about it?
Sounds like bullshit. Sounds like bullshit. He said, see, this is my thing. I felt that was a little weird in the hesitation when he started to talk about how like Triller was like the biggest thing. And then like Joe kind of jumped in and started doing the clap thing, but he never really finished his statement because Triller's not really that popping anymore. I'm just saying it's not the way he's speaking about it in that second.
It could be overseas.
Man, still.
That's a good point, though. That's a great.
It could be overseas. Like we kind of putting it in the bubble that we're in. Like
maybe because we are more familiar with those artists. I'm not saying that Europe are not familiar with those artists at all.
Oh no, I'm talking about the app. I'm talking about Triller.
Yeah, but still, they brought it to Triller because the whole idea is why bring it to Triller, right?
Right.
And in one way or another. Mm-hmm. So the statement was made that maybe in Europe, you know what I mean? Maybe outside of the country, that's where Triller is more popular.
Right.
My argument was, well, if to bring into that and say that it was more popular overseas, I still don't see them being to the extent of that would be a reason to bring them over to Triller. Triller's not that popular here anymore, though.
Right, but
you know what I mean?
Keep in mind,
I don't know.
A lot of music artists tell you they get more sales and more money doing shows overseas than they do here in the US.
Well, I can see that, but I don't know if I can see that through the app. Not with the people that they,
My concern, like I always said, words matter, right? My concern is that if Triller, we know
you got to echo away.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. If we know Triller's not that popular on our end, right? Then where are they getting this capital from? Where are they getting $400 million from? You know what I'm saying? Like maybe they have other assets. Great, wonderful. But I don't see it. I don't see the pop. If they partner with TikTok,
is your phone muted?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but the echo is real.
CeeLo made a point too. He said his point was the largest people of color in ownership, not the largest platform.
I mean, that's good. That's wonderful. It's just, it sounds like after the fact. Like, I'm going to convince you, I tell you all these things, not because I believe you know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, now let me convince everybody why I did it. Like, that wasn't a reason to do it. But now that I did it, so you can be my side.
You kind of got a point there, because there was a statement he made about, we didn't have to, we could have accepted it without anybody knowing. We could have accepted the money with nobody knowing. Like, so are you saying you're doing us a favor? By telling us right now? But you're not really telling us a lot, though. neither. I just, I could see that. Yeah.
To me, it's
Sounds a
the
little,
it's the conversation you'll have as creators, because we had a point. Creators, we make an app popular, alluding to the Clubhouse conversation we had a while ago, and then we get nothing.
Well, maybe they looked at it because they keep talking or keep focusing on the fact that they wanted to give something back to the artist. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe it was a way of kind of doing that, is like they said, and without having to. Maybe they're just trying to give them a platform to start back off on. You know what I mean? Like you said, where they can put their single back out and get some more sales off of that, or however, put new songs out, and they can be popular off the fact that they did the verses. Because we saw a lot of artists, kind of pick up off of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But at the same time, maybe it was just nobody else has been giving them that type of platform or that type of offer, so they kind of jumped on it. Maybe that's really what that was, because he keeps talking, or they keep talking about, we wanted to give back, we wanted to kind of look out for everybody, and one way to do that made more sense to me than him trying to explain, well, did you know Triller, that's the platform, that's but not really giving anything that's convincing of that being a good move, other than the fact that you were trying to look out for the artist.
Yeah, because even when they was talking about the conversation when they called Joe and was like, it just don't sit right with my spirit and all this and the third. So like you said, it might have been a situation like that where it was just the terms that they were trying to that they set out there. It was just like, well, Apple won't go and pick up. They're like, nah, we're not gonna give y'all that amount of money so y'all can pay the artists too. Nah, we're not doing that. So it might have just been that Triller was willing to give them, the numbers that they needed to be able to give something back to the artists.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's very well and good. But it's the age-old conversation that we as creators, we as Black people have. It's the table conversation. We had our own table. Why do we need to do this?
Yeah, but you also can't get everybody to agree on the same thing. So, you can argue that all day long about, well, we had our own, and why can't we just run with this together on our, we can do a lot of shit together. We have spoken about us doing a lot of things together. Right, and that's the number one thing, that we could be the number one fucking race if we really wanted to, United States, if we did it together. But unfortunately, there's no such thing as fucking kumbaya anymore around here. Let's just be realistic. It's not a thing. So we can talk about it, and a lot of people talk about it, but then shit like this happens. Like we talked about on the last show. We talked about Jay-Z doing what he do, but you always talking about Black businesses, right?
Right.
So once again, you're there, you talk about it, and and it's not even that they don't really believe in it, but in the reality, they still got to look back at what they feel like is good for them, what's working for them. That's just really what that is. And the entertainment business is a cutthroat business. We know that. You said that way when I said certain things is just not fair.
Yeah.
That's one of them.
I think at some point, Swiss and Timbo, like we've already discussed, they wanted to get the artists taken care of, but at some point, they're not going to want to keep doing this.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, as you said, maybe it's more of they got a job now. It's just like, oh, y'all to oversee stuff. You ain't got to put hands in daily. It's just, just check on things periodically so they can move on and do whatever else they wanted to do, and they not stuck holding it. Like at some point, just kind of letting it die.
You know what it feels like, and we'll wrap it up. It feels like Rockaway, because this is very similar to Rockaway. When Jay owned Rockaway. Rockaway was popping everywhere. Powder Blue, Rockaway, all this stuff. They sold Rockaway to whoever, I don't know, and now you can buy Rockaway. Nobody wears Rockaway.
Even when it was popping, I only had one Rockaway shirt.
But that's my fear with verses. Like we all saw it build from Swiss and Tim to the last verse of D'Angelo. My fear is actually the joke, but my fear is going to see. Avril Lavigne and Pink, or Perry, Pink.
It's gonna be Miley Cyrus and Katy Perry.
I don't know a bunch of white people. These are
Miley Cyrus gonna come in like a wrecking ball.
Yeah, I don't want that we do. I think that's almost as, if not more, the financial part. If this is for our culture, keep it for our culture. My fear is that it's not gonna be for our culture.
Well, I guess at this point, only time will tell, like how they move with it. So
yeah, they can prove me. If whole thing is so whatever, prove me completely wrong, and they continue to do things. But I just know from past experiences with other companies, start off for the culture, and then you go corporate. It's never the same. Your powder blue rocket end up in Walmart clearance section.
Oh shit.
I don't want that. But one thing I want to get on, because I just saw this and I want to really quick before we get out of here. It's like I said, we should go really quick just to touch base with y'all. Shout out to my oh, hold on, see what I said before we get out of here. I'm hoping that Tim do what they don't have they out, so they'll this white video. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. It's just in our history in this play. You know, Swiss, Tim from VA. I've never. I just know in our culture, this is happening, and that's what I'm saying. That's all. I want to touch on it happened this week. We talk all the time. Times have changed. Cool once before, not cool anymore. It came out, say Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday. Pepe Le Pew was removed from because he. I think they say he's a rape culture.
They removed him from what?
He represents rape culture. The way he comes onto the Pepe Le Pew, he comes onto the cat.
No, I get that. You said they removed him from what?
From Space Jam 2, the movie coming out. He's supposed to be in Space Jam 2. They removed him. He's effectively been canceled. That sparks a whole internet conversation. If you're going to cancel Pepe Le Pew, you got to cancel Miss Piggy. You got to cancel Miss Parker from the Parkers. You got to do this. The
old dude from Family Guy.
The old dude.
Right. With the dog, baby, dragging on that leash and shit.
So the question I have for you guys, and for the unconnected watching, when do we say, you know what, that was the past, leave it in the past, and stop saying, let's cancel everything. You know, we can't do this. Like, because it's not so
yeah, it was certain books that they pulled ahead.
It's history. It's like, oh, we did that back then. Cancel it. You can't do it no more. I get that, but I think we're missing the point. I think there was a point that we Space Jam happens all the time. Someone's canceled, they just can't never correct the behavior. Oh, you fucked up? Get out of here. Never like this is what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying?
You feel like so they feel like Pepe Le Pew is going to teach in some type of way or can influence children to be rapey or touchy-feely or inappropriate. But yet having them be born by a woman who turned herself into a man, and now they have bathrooms that are sharing between transsexual, and now we're taking Mr. Potato Head, and he's no longer a Mr. because we can't really give whether you're a male or a female any fucking more.
Talk to him.
I'm just saying. So at this point, that's why a lot of that is bullshit. It's a whole type of way of trying to we're gonna pat this on the back and we're no longer gonna do that and try to erase that shit from history wise. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things they're not really thinking through. as far as those type of decisions. You want to force, in my opinion, Uncut Nation, my opinion. And I have nothing against homosexuals. I have nothing against.
The words are scared. The words are scared.
Listen, I have no problem. I judge no one when it comes to that type of stuff. But what I don't like is when you're starting to take an innocence from kids. I feel like you are really ripping away the just natural mind creation that they make, imagination on their own.
Yeah, they're developing.
You're not allowing them to become who the fuck they're supposed to be, because we're too busy as adults making decisions that make no fucking sense, because we're too busy trying to appease everyone but not really fixing the problem. What are you fixing?
And that's my point.
What are you fixing?
I think that was a moment they missed. You know, they could have kept Pepper the Pew in the movie and had LeBron come up to you like, "Hey, you can't do that, fam. That's not how it
correct."
There you go.
To teach.
Yeah,
the right.
It's a teaching moment. It's a teaching moment.
Not let's just act like it never happened.
And
okay, and then on top of that, I still feel once again you're taking away something that was just purely natural and innocent. You want to fuck with cartoons now. You want to fuck with toys. You want to, you want to mess with women's douche. Like, they wanted to take the femininity away from it so that way they don't make homosexual people or transsexual people uncomfortable. Like, I'm just confused.
It's like
I go all the way back. I was pissed when they switched Cookie Monster up on Sesame Street. Like, the fuck that he's Cookie Monster. Oh, sends a bad signal. He's eating cookies. He's teaching kids not to eat healthy. So let's switch him to vegetables. Like, y'all, first of all,
but yet you continue to put all type of hormones and bad chemicals in our fucking food. You make bad food cheaper than you do the actual healthy food.
Yeah,
you don't actually promote gardening in all your schools. Your kids have to go to a magnet or a private school to learn about things like that. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. There are towns that actually have nothing but just corner stores as their actual grocery store. But you want to get upset and say that they shouldn't be on TV because they're promoting overeating.
That part.
Let's get rid of
society deems as normal and not what should be.
Let's just get rid of everything. We just got to get rid of everything.
Of course, has some places. There are too many people that were as a kid that are in charge of getting revenge on everything and everybody. They create this damn sanitized society. 1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. Like, it's essentially people that bullied and picked on trying to change the rules of everybody. Sometimes people like everybody in the Station Award. Sometimes you gotta lose. You have to learn what losing is like.
I hate that fucking mindset.
Yeah.
That participation award shit.
Hey, you know what stuck with me?
I can't stand that shit.
You know what stuck with me?
What's that?
Talladega Nights. If you ain't first, you're last.
Straight up.
Period.
Bobby.
And sometimes you're gonna be last, but the only way you're gonna learn how to be first is for your ass to have to be last. Like, hello.
That's where the determination and the drive come from.
How you gonna know if you haven't lost? You have to lose.
Yeah, when you feel that feeling of losing, you don't want to feel that shit no more.
That's why.
So that's when you start. That's when you get the determination and dedication. Like, that's literally why I just signed my boys up for sports. They be in there spazzing on video games, and when they lose, they can't handle it. And I sat in there, had a whole conversation with them. As soon as I said, y'all need to learn how to lose, both of them looked at me like I was crazy. I said, for the fact y'all gave me that look, y'all don't understand the bigger picture. I said, don't worry, you're gonna get to it.
Yeah, you're gonna get to it.
I call it the pussification of America. Everybody's soft. Like, everybody's soft. Everybody's soft. You have to learn how to look at this. You grow from it.
It's prime example. It just shows that people who come from nothing tend to conquer more than those who come from nothing, and they also don't buckle under pressure as easily as someone that comes from something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the difference. That's how you know. If you can't pay attention to adults and see that, then you definitely don't need to be a parent.
Definitely. Definitely. Listen, this is our show. Let's just wrap it here. See anything else from here? Hulu again, since we ain't last blacks to where we are now. Put the battery in your back.
It definitely does.
I think we're so complete because nobody's and I hate to say selfish like that, but you know what I mean. Nobody loses. Nobody. You know, when I was a kid, I did do something. I'm like, I'm gonna work hard and I'm gonna go towards it. It doesn't happen. Yeah. You get awards. Everybody gets an award. Yeah,
everybody gets an accolade.
Yeah.
Like, why would that make you want to push harder the next time if you know you're going to get a reward anyway?
Exactly.
1,000%. See, we got anything else? Nah, I think that's it. Well, listen, Anchor Nation, before we do this, at least once a month, we come up to Facebook Live and YouTube and Instagram and all the live things except LinkedIn apparently. And just talk to y'all. Go over a topic, just talk to y'all. If you like this conversation, you definitely start the podcast on WordsWithWade podcast. You see at the bottom here, from any platform. We do this once. Me, scan. Talk about what's going on in the culture. We definitely appreciate y'all. And as always, big fan of you and more of you.
They can find me on Twitter as @MooreNissa. That's MooreNissa. You can also find me on my IG, which is just Nissa.Moore. And you can also catch me on my OnlyFans, which is onlyfans.com/needs some more. That's NeedSomeMoore. And if you want to check out the free version of that and just get individual clips, you can always just throw a free at the end of that. Check me out. Oh, that's right. Make sure you also check me on Sweet Talk that comes out once a week at 2 p.m. on Thursdays on the Culture Play.
All right. Where can they find you?
Let's see. Twitter, Instagram, the same _G_LI. That's it. I'm not as busy as Scam.
Why slap in the comment? OnlyFans. Hey, how you live? As far as me, you can find me, of course, at the same place, all social media platforms. I'm moving on TikTok for no reason, those who are pro-black stuff like me. But yeah, blog, sports podcast, WordsWithWade.com. My latest episode, pretty soon, hopefully. And any other platform, Apple, Google, Tidal, Spotify, one word, catalog. This is what a podcast. Real podcast. That's it. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. So, as always, you may agree with me. You may not agree with me.
Okay.
One thing you can't agree with.
What's that?
We keep it uncut.
Uncut.
Until next time. It's on the internet.
Shit.